I did it. We are live. Let me know as I get rid of this scrolling banner along the bottom. Let me know that you can hear me as I am alone here in the Badger Den. So I just want to be sure. Drop a comment and I will wait just to be sure that you can see me. I hope everyone's having a great day out there. It has been incredibly gray and rainy here in Austin like the last week. And that is, some days when it's raining, it's like really nice to be inside and think and work. Other days, man, I just wish it were sunny. So just drop a comment if you could see me. Let me know where you're tuning in from. That's always fun. So let me know where you're tuning in from, and if you can see me, where you're tuning in from, and if you can see me. What a hunka Amazon PPC knowledge. Thank you. So let's get started. The reason I wanted to host this one today, hey, got the notification this time. Well, that's awesome. I think this might be Hillary. For some reason, the app that I'm using still says Facebook user, but I think this might be Hillary. What's up? Hope all is well. So the thing that I wanted to really talk about today is something that every single leader needs to pay attention to. And what that is mindset. Mindset during this time of coronavirus. It is more important than ever to practice leadership qualities during this, and leaders within organizations, meaning you don't have to be the boss at the organization to be a leader in an organization. So during this time of crisis, this is a time to step up. This is a time to shift our mindset from business as usual to a mindset that will not only get us through to the end of this crisis, but make us stronger along the way. Recently, I was talking to friends at another company, and their product helps Amazon marketers too. It does it in different ways than AdBadger. And they were incredibly dejected. Like, it was weighing very heavily on them. Maybe they were seeing a slight dip, and to them, that slight dip was a sign of the end. Like, we're dipping a little bit, therefore, it's hopeless. And I think that mindset, like how we interpret that, is incredibly, incredibly important now. Same thing with our PPC campaigns. If you are seeing a dip, it is not the end. If you are seeing a rise in ACoS, it does not mean this is the end for you. So I think it's incredibly important to recognize things for what they are. And today, what I wanted to do, we released episode 71 of our podcast, where we talked a lot about mindset during this time. And I wanted to share some of this with you really quick. And I wanted to start by sharing two quotes with you. And they're both by the same person, V.Frankl. And he wrote a book called A Man's Search for Meaning. And anyone who is stressed out, anyone who is worried about the future, anyone who feels like they're not up to task, anyone who feels like it is overwhelming right now, needs to read this book. It is an incredible, true story of V.Frankl, who was in a concentration camp during World War II. And what this book is about, it is a book about how to survive during hard times. And I wanted to read two quotes to you really quick. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Second quote. Everything can be taken away from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. And I think that's incredibly powerful, because even when V.Frankl was in a concentration camp. Even when he was not able to change anything at all in his situation, he went inward. What do I have to change in his what he asked himself, what he needed to change? How could he be free, even though he had all his freedoms taken away from him? How could he change his attitude to choose his own way of handling the situation, even in a concentration camp? And of course, I'm here in my comfortable room. We are nowhere near a concentration camp, but times are difficult. And I think these quotes can ring true even in difficult times, because even though it is difficult now, even though it is hard now, we still get to choose what we do and how we think. So with all that said, if you are noticing a dip in anything in your PPC campaigns, in your Amazon account, your overall business, whatever it might be, that do not interpret that for something that it is not. Accept the reality of it, and then ask yourself what you're going to do about it. In every single depression, in every single recession, there are always ways to navigate it, to either come out a smarter, stronger, savvier leader than you were previously, or not. And I think that's an incredibly important thing to think here. Things have changed, and it is possible that, perhaps the market isn't responding to your product the way that they did previously. Perhaps Amazon gave you a very long ship date and it's hurting your conversion rates. There are things that you can do. There are ways that you can think about this, because what I've noticed is that there are two types of people. There are the types of people that see an ACOS spike and they see things getting a little bit worse. They see Amazon giving them a long ship date, and their ship date is long and their sales date is pushed back and their conversion rates are falling. There are people that have seen that and instantly they are able to respond. Maybe not instantly. I think everyone has that same reaction, like, damn it, what is going on here? This is not what I want. This is not good. However, some people see that information and then say, what am I going to do about it? What can I do? What are my options? Let me list them out. How can I prepare? How can I play some defense? Cut my costs, focus on investing, focus on things that can help me grow, like watching this, like getting more involved in the Ad Badger forums in our Facebook group, sending us more questions. Hey, what do you think about my campaigns over here? What do you think about my campaigns over there? The sort of growth mindset, as opposed to sort of a scarcity mindset, saying, I need to pause everything. I need to stop doing this. I need to stop doing that, because now that I had this blip, the whole thing is over. And I think as we approach this, its mindset is so incredibly important, because if we start asking ourselves the wrong questions, like when is it going to dry up? When is the end coming? Like when all these things, then that is what can happen. And so as we look at these situations and we process them, always try to remember those quotes. You have the freedom to choose how you approach it. And I think that's really, really powerful, even here in these sort of uncomfortable, dark times. So I wanted to share, Frankl was a B.A. Hells yeah. I wish I knew who you were, because I'll find out after the show who wrote this comment. Yes. Thank you so much for saying that. Absolutely. I wanted to share just a few things that I'm doing to maintain an elevated mental state during this time. And I will leave you with that. If you have ideas how you stay like mentally elevated so that you can stay in a growth mindset as opposed to a scarcity mindset, let me know, let others know in the comments as you're watching this replay too. Comment, I'll see it later. So again, maintain that growth mindset instead of a scarcity mindset. This means the first thing, immediately focus on facts, not conjecture. You don't need a random blog post conjecture. You don't need a Facebook news feed of disaster news. It is the fastest. You're on a fast track to thinking negatively if all you're surrounding yourself with is negative conjecture. Nobody knows how long this is going to last. It will end eventually, but nobody knows exactly how long. Will it be 6 months? Will it be 12 months? Will it be 3 months? No one can give you that number. And I think it's important to remember that there's a lot of conjecture going on, and conjecture is like spinning your wheels in the mud. There's not much you can do with it. Instead, look at real numbers of what's actually happening. So look inside your Amazon reports, look inside your business reports. That should tell you what your next moves are. And then run your financial models, get real with them. Let this be the reality check you need, not a scary blog post or a scary newsfeed or a scary forward chain letter that you got from your aunt. Let it instead be those numbers and run those financial models. What happens if you fall to, what happens if you fall 20%? What happens if you fall 40%? What happens if you fall 60%? Run those numbers. Do you have a plan in place? Can you put a plan in place? What would it take for you to make it out ahead during that time? Don't stop moving forward. I think there's a incredible quote that I read, and I shared it in our Facebook group. It's worth sharing here again. Think of a recession as a sharp curve on a racetrack. The best place to pass competitors is that sharp curve, but it requires more skill than the straightaways. The best driver applies the brakes just ahead of the curve to take out excess costs. Then they turn hard towards the apex of the curve. They identify their growth plan and accelerate out of the curve. They take action quickly. So again, I've mentioned this a lot. You don't want to be standing still when this is over. So the things that you put in place, if you can gain even 1 mile an hour right now, 1 mile an hour of momentum, it will pay off in a big way when this is done. You will have the wind at your backs. You will be moving much faster. If you can increase your pace, even just 1 mile an hour right now, if you can put a system in place to stay ahead right now, that will pay off in a gigantic way. It's easy to succeed in the bull market. A bad strategy can work in a bull market when everyone's buying, everything's great. This is fantastic. You don't need a really strong strategy in place. You don't need a really strong mental state. You don't need any of these things. So it matters now more than ever. We're being squeezed right now. Maybe our customer pool is shrinking a little bit. Maybe it's taking longer. Everything's a little bit more difficult. Again, remember that you can control how you think and how you approach these things. There is opportunity out there, and it may require a pivot. It may require something that you have never done before. Your duty is to go out in there and find out what it is and then take action on that immediately. Surround yourself with a positive community, people that actually want you to succeed, people that want to succeed as bad as you are. In our Facebook group, people are pretty positive. We have a if you listen to the podcast and you find us that way, you are generally of a similar mindset. You're not looking for some easy thing, some underhanded thing. You're not looking for some cheat or some hack to get ahead. You're ready to do the work. You want to know what the work is, and you want to know how to do it as efficiently, as effective as possible. Like, that's our crew. So please come into the Facebook group, share what it is that you're doing, share what it is that you're doing to stay ahead. I've been going overdrive in our Facebook group, and it's been really great to be there. It helps keep me motivated. So I want to do more of this. I'm doing more lives just like this because it helps pump me up. It's what people have asked for, some more tips. And so this is really exciting. So again, as we sort of wrap this up, whether you're watching this live or in a replay, definitely drop what you are doing to maintain that growth mindset. And the things that I'll say is, don't wait. You need to accept reality. This is not normal times. You cannot do normal times. You cannot act in a normal way. You need to accept that reality. You need to look at those numbers, and then you need to move incredibly fast towards solutions. You need to try things, and you need to see what gets you feedback, and you need to do that quickly. You need to over communicate. Talk to your team. Talk to your customers. Talk to investors. Talk to your lenders if you can. Talk to your family. Don't let them guess at what is happening. The more you can communicate, the better. Everyone should be sending a weekly newsletter if they have a newsletter list. Run your numbers, prepare a stress test. How would you survive for 6 months at 50% of revenue? Use your financing options available. We did some SBA stuff last week on our live. The recording should be somewhere in our Facebook group. Go in, check it out. If you haven't seen anything, probably take advantage of a US disaster loan, some kind of SBA loan. Don't wait to share bad news with your team. Sharing quicker helps you build trust. Stop spending money, start investing. You want to play offense. You want to protect of course, you want to play defense. You want to get rid of things that just aren't working. You may need to right size your team. Maybe you're overstaffed. Again, that's a really heavy decision, but you want to really be aware of how much you're spending, and you need to make appropriate investments. So instead of spending money, invest. Remember, accept reality and keep moving and work towards a better future. Now, all of that stuff, check it out. Listen to episode 71. I hope you enjoy it. Do stay positive, maintain that growth mindset. And I have something very, very exciting for everyone watching this. Are there any Ad Badger customers watching this stream? Because I have a special treat for you. And that treat is we're coming out this week with a crisis response bid optimization algorithm. And I will talk more about this tomorrow. We're going to be rolling this out later this week. I'm going to be talking about it tomorrow on our Facebook Live. So be sure to tune in then. I might bring Steven on to that call so we can actually talk together about what that means and how it will impact you, because it will absolutely be better performing during this crazy time. So I'm really, really excited to roll that out to all of our customers, a crisis response bid algorithm. I'm super stoked to get that out there. So with all that said, maintain that growth attitude, do what you need, find the ingredients on how you maintain that growth attitude and stay positive during this dark time. Find that opportunity. It is out there. You may need to pivot. However, with all that said, good luck, everyone. Stay home, stay healthy, and hopefully coronavirus just becomes a memory sooner than later. Have a good one, and I'll see you inside the Badger Den. Oh, and if you're still watching, comment below if there's anything that you'd like to see on any of these lives. So some of your biggest needs and wants, definitely share those below. I'm going to end this, but just drop a comment because I'm going to come back and see it. Have a good one, everyone, and I'll see you inside the Badger Den.